Hey, Steve Mignani here doing the junkyard crawl at Bernardston Auto Wrecking in Bernardston, Massachusetts with a 1991 Volvo 240. Now, over 2.9 million of these things were built between 1974 and 1993. And unlike typical American cars, Volvo didn't do planned obsolescence. So the same basic shell was sold for that full model run, again, 74 through 1993. And again, this 1991 is close to the end of the line. Now, if you wonder, where does the term Volvo come from? We know the cars come from Sweden, like the Saab, but Volvo, what is a Volvo? Well, it goes back to Latin. This is my Latin book from 1977. I was like, I think in 7th grade, and I studied Latin in high school for 1 year, more on that in a second. But the word Volvo is Latin for I roll. It has nothing to do with the family name of the people who started the company. The company was started by SKF, which is a worldwide leader in ball bearings. And in 1912, SKF trademarked the term Volvo. I roll. What rolls? A ball bearing. By 1927, SKF branched into automobile production, and it says, you know, that I roll thing works good on our ball bearings, also works pretty good on our new car, the Volvo. So Volvo is Latin for I roll. Now we know. Getting back to Latin, again, I was born in '64, and this is my Latin book from when I was in high school. You can see how much I respected and enjoyed the class, but here it is, the first year Latin right here. And I had such a strong sense of diligence. Here's my I wrote it, my name is Steve Mignani, Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck, lukewarm, kitty litter, and then here's my cheat notes, believe it or not. I kid you not, I kept this in my pocket. Arbor, arboris, tree, and these are the declensions and the whole, whatever the Latin thing is. And here is a test, believe it or not. I actually took a test in Latin, and I didn't do so well. I think it's right, yeah, right here. Look at this, oh my gosh. Okay, right here. I got a 56. I got a 56. So credo, credere, credi, cognitarum, lego, whatever. I don't know. So with that said, you know, Latin and I just didn't get along. But here's the thing. I did a lot of graffiti in this book because I wasn't really paying attention. That's a self-portrait I did when I was 13 years old. So again, Latin, yes, it has a lot to do with where I'm from, but more to do with where the Volvo is from. It rolls. Let's roll on over and check it out. Now, one thing about the 240 series was that when they launched in '74, they all had McPherson strut, front suspension, very advanced stuff, excellent turning radius, rack and pinion steering right here. There's the end of the rack. That was standard equipment, 4-wheel disc brakes on every single one of them. It wasn't optional. Again, discs on the back as well as the front. And the 2 series picked up where the 1 series left off. And the little 4-banger went from push rods to overhead valve right here, or overhead cam, I should say. And there it is right there. That's the Volvo overhead cam inline 4, known as the red block engine. A decent little engine. This one here has fuel injection and, you know, pretty standard stuff. The beauty of the Volvo, of course, is it's a rear-wheel drive platform, at least at this point it was. And these make great little drag cars. In fact, at the Roadkill Nights drag meet in Woodward Avenue, Detroit, Michigan. There's a Volvo 240 wagon with an LS with twin turbos that runs 6-second quarter miles. Google it. Maybe we'll put a little picture of the thing, but that thing is based on one of these. In other words, the basic airframe of a 240 is an excellent drag car. Rear-wheel drive, front engine, big transmission tunnel. You can put whatever you want in them, and pretty rugged, pretty cool piece. Now again, safety was the big thing with Volvo. We can see when you open the door, there's a sticker here to alert oncoming cars, the reflective thing. Hey, look out, there's a Volvo owner here, don't want to hurt him. Inside, bucket seats up front. This one's an automatic. There were manual transmissions, certainly very available, but virtually everything inside of there that you might come into contact against is made of something soft. And again, Volvo, for people who think, was the term, the ad lingo for these. And again, getting back to the disc brakes in the back, there it is, man, discs in the back. And 4-wheel disc brakes in 1974 was something seen kind of only on Corvette. So pretty advanced stuff for a mass-produced car. Now keep in mind, again, 2.9 million of these were built. 2/3 of them were sedans in either 2- or 4-door. 1/3 of them, roughly, were wagons, very popular cars. But again, rear-wheel drive. Let's take a peek inside the trunk on this thing. And of course, big safety bumpers right here. Standard equipment, federally mandated, have to have them. and big trunk, you know, nice big trunk. Electric fuel pump, once again accessible under this panel here. Take that off, the pump's in the tank, unscrew it, here's the wires, the vent. And interesting here, right here, long load. You can see if you had a pair of skis, this little tiny door, you put your skis through that hole, because I can't think much else other than skis. It is Sweden after all, they're going to fit through that hole, but there's also a warning. Be careful, don't impale yourself. In other words, Volvo, all about safety. So if you can't remember to strap your skis down, well, there's a sticker to remind you. Of course, Road Test magazine, this is August of '76, second year into 240 production. And here's the ad, and it says here, should a car with a reputation of being so safe go so fast? Volvo has become a very symbol of the safe, sane automobile designed for people with a rational view of life. But in a comparison of passing times, a Volvo 242 with a 4-cylinder engine was faster than a Mercedes 280 with a 6. Well, what do you know? But there it is, a Volvo on a test track. Go figure. The Volvo, the car for people who think. So again, you know, with minimal changes, this same body shell was sold 1974 through 1993. But again, this is a little later on, and they did proliferate, and this is a 1989 catalog right here. And we can see the lineup. Top left, that's the 240. That was the budget car, believe it or not. That was the least expensive entry level. Down from that is the 740, which still has rear-wheel drive, but instead of a beam axle, independent rear suspension, actually quite a different car from the 240 series. And then from there, the 760, which also is based on that same 740 with independent rear suspension. And then at the bottom, the 780 Coupe. And some of these cars actually used a similar V6 as was used in the DeLorean. It was designed by Volvo, Peugeot, I think, and Renault. There's Renault Way. But again, the V6 could be had. But most of these were four-bangers. But there it is right there, the 240 series. And check this out. Last year, the 1988 240 received its culminating accolade, Family Circle Magazine's first Family Car of the Year award. So there you have it. That's the kind of people that bought Volvos. And that's cool. People who think. Nothing wrong with that. I drive a Volvo to this day. I have a 2004, was a V70 wagon. It's a 5-cylinder front-wheel drive. It's not a rear-wheel driver, so I can't put an LS in it. But getting back to that rear-wheel drive, the axle in this thing, we can kind of see from underneath. And if that looks like a Dana Model 30 to you, that's because it is. That's a Dana 30, which is made in Europe under license by a company called GKN, which is a huge axle and gear manufacturer throughout Europe. So these have a Dana 30 rear axle. In other words, it's a Spicer 30 made by GKN under license. But again, coil springs at the back, disc brakes, and these are excellent platforms for fortification with a V8. Maybe a 9-inch or a Dana 60 in the back with some real power would be a cool thing. But again, Swedish metal, just not rust proof, but less prone to rust than most cars I've seen. And this one, of course, being a 4-door. Let's pop this door over here. And we can see inside, once again, all about safety. And 1990 was the first year for standard airbag. It says here SRS, Supplemental Restraint System. And there's a sticker on the doorpost here, the lock post. And it says right here that see owner's manual for further information. The airbag has to be replaced by November of 2000. In other words, the airbag charge, apparently, well, it only went 10 years. And here it is right here on page 43 and 42. They're talking about how in 10 years' time, go back to your dealer and get the charge in the airbag replaced. But here's how it works right here. And again, 1990 was the first year for a standard airbag in the 240. This 1991 second year. But again, here's a pop of that sticker. So we have to have that airbag replaced. I'm not sure if it's been done here or not. Doesn't really matter. This car ain't going too far from here. But again, you know, a great platform. And these are starting to come on strong with collectors, mostly the turbo wagons, which are beautiful cars. And of course, the turbo sedans. They actually made these things with turbochargers, mean looking cars, alloy wheels, a little bit lower, blackout, great looking cars. But the vast majority of the 2.9 million 2 Series Volvos built were utilitarian cars. They weren't cheap. These were about the price of, well, I won't say an entry-level Cadillac, but certainly Mercury territory. Chevys and Fords were cheaper than these things, but you got more car here, frankly. And again, Volvo bucked the trend toward front-wheel drive for many, many years. Only, I don't know, maybe 20 years ago, they finally got into the front-wheel drive thing. Most of their cars were strictly rear-wheel drive, and that says a lot. Coming from a country, Sweden, where snow is a huge thing, you can make a rear-wheel drive car bite through any kind of snow, and the Volvo is proof. It'll roll through anything. Of course, Volvo means you know the rest. Well, if you like this video, be sure to subscribe to the SteamAgs YouTube channel and share this video with your friends. Give it a thumbs up. And if you hit the bell, or ring the bell, you'll be alerted to when the next video hits, which is tomorrow morning.